Hey guys, how's it going? Boy M.K.S here, back with part 2 of my quirky idea for a network for people, for dyslexics who happen to be billionaires. Hope you check out parts. Hope you checked out possibly look out for part 3 when I hope to make it, all being well. Yeah, it's a quirky idea of mine, I know, but just trying to I'm plugged in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this idea. As ever, I love to hear time ago. I know idea a long time ago and you haven't done anything with it. Perhaps it's not that good idea, but hopefully the idea has improved over time, and my ideas have changed quite a lot. Like in the past it was about me making money for myself and then giving some of that to charity, but now it's more about giving most of my money to charity and not all that kind of thing, because I'm not that materialistic really. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video and I remember my points and points of view, my chain of thought and points of view or whatever. And as ever, I'd love to hear from you, whether you're dyslexic or not. I'd love to hear from dyslexic billionaires. I think that'd be really interesting, because obviously they are the sort of target market of what I would like to join this network. So basically a group of people, all of the members, or the full members at least, other than shareholders or equity holders or whatever, or investors, would be dyslexic themselves. So the main people who can have the main shares or things like that would be dyslexic themselves, except for me as the founder, which I hope to come to, and possibly they'll meet up maybe once a week or once a month or whatever is agreed upon, and the members would all probably have a vote each or something like that. So they could even decide upon the name if they want to change the name, or the names of any businesses or ventures we go into, or the way we do it. It would be decided by those dyslexic billionaires themselves. So I would have loved to have developed the idea a lot sooner. And in the past, Ingvar Kamprad, apparently, who founded IKEA, was also said to be dyslexic, and even the late Steve Jobs, or even Bill Gates, some people say. I don't know if that's true, because he was quite good academically, so I'm not sure. Maybe even more dyslexic will come out, so to speak, and say they're dyslexic and declare they're dyslexic, because they'll be like, oh, this is a great network to be proud of. And dyslexic people do have a lot of skills. We might not be the best academically, but we do have a lot of skills, and a lot of people who might want to be a part of this network, who are dyslexic themselves, who are billionaires, who have been in hiding, so to speak, and not coming out, or whatever you want to call it, to use that term as Matt Hancock used. Anyway, I hope to also do these series of videos and cover different topics, like the questions I would love to ask the billionaires, dyslexic billionaires, or things like that. 30 questions I would love to ask for dyslexic billionaires, for instance, or things like that in the future. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, because this has been going on quite this intro. But yeah, every Monday or Friday, every Monday, Tuesday, and struggle Friday, and possibly other days, or maybe even basically as often as I can, whenever I get a chance to upload these videos about dyslexic billionaires. Every time I come up with new ideas, some of them might be in list form, some of them might just be general thoughts, or even Q&As or whatever. But I'll see if I can mix it up a bit. But anyway, I would love to have waited till October, but because I'm impatient and I have these ideas right now, I thought I'd discuss some of them before I forget them, or whatever. Because that's why sometimes I stay up at night, I'm right and type ideas. Anyway, so cracking on. Number 11. I would love for dyslexics to invest in dyslexic inventors, or other dyslexic investors, or things like that, and to go into different areas. Maybe, for instance, if Richard Branson wants to go into an area of technology and he doesn't know much about tech, he can work with another dyslexic, like John Chambers or someone like that, who is good at tech, or even just general dyslexic people who are good at tech, or invest in a tech company or whatnot, and have advisors, and also a legal team which would help fellow dyslexics, as well as investing in things like dyslexic entrepreneurs and investors and inventors and things like that. So the billionaires themselves would invest in other dyslexics who might not be billionaires, but they might, or just different projects, like going into different fields and looking at what areas might be profitable, how to profit maximize, but also have fun. I'd also love to talk to dyslexics as well, like Richard Branson, if I had the chance, because like Richard Branson says, he likes to have fun and enjoy himself, and things like that. So he's not only into the money. So it'd be great to talk about what sort of things each individual dyslexic. Some might just say, well, I just want to do whatever makes money, and this certain area would make more money, or whatever. So it'd be interesting to hear from different perspectives, but hopefully come together and sometimes agree to disagree, but come to a common consensus. I suppose that's one of the areas where it could be a challenge, is like in networks or things like that, is how do you agree to disagree amicably and things like that. And also I hope to do something called buying all the empties. By empties, what I mean is empty businesses, premises, shops, or whatever, which are obviously being are derelict or being unused. And so, if they come in, if the Dyslexic Billionaires does get to start, and then hopefully it will discuss with different politicians or political parties around the world, governments and whatnot, whether those are opposition governments or opposition politicians, sorry, or governments themselves, or people in government, to discuss the best possible deals we can get. So buying things in bulk, buying things cheap, pooling resources together. But with empties, hopefully we'll get really good deals because they're not really being used. So we could turn them into sort of creative hubs, tech hubs, graffiti hubs, artist hubs. We could use them for areas where dyslexic people can design things, or even non-dyslexic people. But with the money invested, it could be given opportunities to be used. Anyway, moving on, because I covered that point quite a lot as well as the intro. Number 12, I think it'd be great if dyslexics mentored and taught each other, and I think this group itself would motivate people. As I mentioned in part one, or I didn't get around to mentioning because I got interrupted, but for my last video, but I did put it in the comments section. So point number 8 was like, this would be positive just for people to see that there are dyslexic billionaires and success stories. So even that on itself, by itself, that alone would show what dyslexic people can achieve. And just even having a list of famous dyslexics, and even dyslexics in their own words, like Richard Branson, who said dyslexia actually helped him, and people like that, could inspire others. But yeah, so being role models for fellow dyslexics who maybe in the future could become the future dyslexic billionaires, or things like that. Me personally, if I was a billionaire, I'd give most of my money away, as I keep mentioning. Anywho, moving on. Number 13, I hope we will address a lot of the problems, and these videos won't be too cringeworthy, as I often say, and hope I know my other video was interrupted. Sometimes I do stumble across my words, and maybe some of my ideas are naive, and I've got to accept perhaps if some ideas are not as great as I would like them to be, but at least I gave it a go. Number 14, on that note, again, at least I gave it a go, and yeah, gave my best shot, and hopefully I'll continue to learn and grow and develop, and also hopefully the group will solve a lot of problems. Obviously, having that amount of money will, if pulled together, could obviously be used to it could be used to solve problems. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Number 15, often number 5 and number 15, I probably mentioned before, remind me of like goal setting and things like that. So I'd love to hear from dyslexic billionaires what their 5-10 year goals. Some of them might just be interested in making money, which is fair enough. Some of them might want to have fun. Some of them might want to might be curious about how things could work out, or whatever. So they might have different reasons why they would, perhaps, if any do want to join, why they would want to join and what their goals are. And it would be great to discuss those goals again, possibly sometimes agreeing to disagree, maybe learning of each other, and perhaps looking at the pros and cons of each goal and looking at what could be done and things like that. Number 16, on that note, I'd love to discuss what are the best steps we could take in the future for the company itself, if and when it gets up and running, and also for philanthropy, helping fellow dyslexics especially, and other such causes which we could go into, and what are the best things we could be doing, and what are the best ways to help dyslexic people, including like to build their confidence and just feel better about themselves and to be happy, which I think is the most important thing. Number 17, one area where people say dyslexics are strong, and this might help for a lot of business people, is like creativity, imagination, and things like that. And I'm not very good at maths, unfortunately, but especially not long maths. But I was thinking, like, I often think of these figures, like, so approximately in the world there's between I was going to say 1 to 2 billion, 1 to 2,000 billionaires in the world. So if roughly 10% are dyslexic, maybe even 20%, if we're really lucky, or even higher than that, would be great, because of the creativity, things like that. But let's say 10%, and sometimes I like to have like conservative figures and then more high-end figures. But if we're so around about 100 to even 200 dyslexic, but if there were around about 1 to 200 dyslexic billionaires, or maybe even more, in the world, then I think it'd be interesting to see, like, so between us we would have, or between the company or the group, or whatever you call it, it would have about 100 billion to invest, probably more than that. Again, I'm looking quite conservatively. So between 100 to 200 billion or even more to invest. And because I was imagining the net worth on average would be 1 billion, but it probably higher than that in many cases. But yeah, if in fact that would be the lowest number, because but anyway, yeah. So yeah, between 100 to 200 billion, and then if we could 10x, 10 times our money, it would even be like to make the company would make a trillion or something like that. So I often imagine like someone like me who's never really, I've got to admit, I've never really, the highest thing I've probably ever achieved is making my own YouTube video and talking about my ideas. So to imagine like having 10% of that, let's say 100 billion or even 200 billion or even more than that would be pretty amazing. Like in the past, I would have loved to have kept that, to have that money, like just for the pride of it. But as I say, I'm not really materialistic, so I would love to, if I did have that money, I would give like whatever money I get if I don't need it, whatever money I get above what I need, I would invest, I would give or even donate, rather to give or donate or whatever, rather than even invest 20% into 5 sort of things like Italian football, benefit of Italian football from a more selfish point of view, also Celtic FC, also my philanthropic, or my political goals like liberty, libertarianism, cutting down on taxes, deregulation, lowering people's taxes generally, and things like that. Also supporting former colonies like parts of Asia and Africa and Ireland, and what I've mentioned before, what I call the Six, and things like that, and also just supporting poor and disadvantaged and disabled and just generally disadvantaged groups around the world, especially in developing countries, but even in more affluent countries, but they still have problems, like helping the homeless in every possible country, helping the 10% poorest people in every possible country, and things like that. So yeah, I would love to donate to those sorts of things, and again, physically, mental, or learn disabled people as well. I was going to say, and then I forgot my train of thought. Yeah, so things like I would love to use my imagination. Again, hope to cover that in more detail in the future. Number 18. Again, on that note, hopefully we'll make the world a better place. Be really positive. And I know people might think billionaires is a bad thing, or having billionaires. Some of my sisters think that's really bad, and I know people generally, especially anti-capitalists, will think stuff like that. But I think we could do a lot of good with that investment. And billionaires are probably going to be around for a long time, maybe always, but I'm not sure. But they're probably going to be there. They're going to be there sort of for a long time. So surely it would be better if they used that money for good rather than bad. Again, I'd love to hear what you think about that. Number 19, I would love to also help African software developers. And number 20, I would love to help Africans in STEM, generally Indigenous Africans and Australasians. I'm going to wrap this video up before it gets to the unlucky 30th number. And I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if I waffled a bit. And I am out. Peace and love.